How we doing, guys? Hope everyone's alive and well. Going to do another fly here for you this evening, and this is a fly that, well, it's a variant of a fly that needs no introduction. It is the famous Loch Ordie, and it's just my spin on it. As I say, the Loch Ordie needs no introduction whatsoever. That's a well-known fly. Very, very good, very successful in the hull locks. But this is my variant on it, so it is. The hook that I'm tying on here this evening is hook-kamasan B175, size 12, and tying in black tying silk. This can also be done with red tying silk as well, but I'm doing it in black. It's the first it came to hand. I've tied down the shank of the hook there and touch and turns. What I've did is I've tied in a flat copper tinsel tag, and that's just added the layers of the fly. That's just for that extra wee bit of sparkle in the water. So it is. Now, the original Loch Ordie, it has no tag, it has no tail. It's pretty much just hackles. So it is. But as I say, this is my variant on it, and it can be very successful in the hull locks. Now, the original Loch Ordie usually probably best fished in the evening time or early in the morning. So it is. And sometimes what I found was it always worked better in the smaller sizes, 14s and 16s. This, as you're going to see, this is tied in that unorthodox style that you will have seen me tying on. Big, oversized hackles, plus I'll also add an element of blue jay under the cheeks, just for that extra bit of colour and vibrance under the water. And I think it's very, very successful. So I do. But as the old saying goes, sometimes it's hard to beat the original. But I love this version. I love the way it looks, love the way it moves in the water. I just think it's brilliant. I really do. Alright, what I've done there, I've just added a dab of varnish to that copper tinsel tag, and I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. And here is one that I've prepared earlier, and that's been varnished and dried and all. Just my check that. Right, everything's all good with the camera, right? So I'm just going to tie it back on. Now you'll notice, first thing you'll probably notice is how much space I've left towards the eye of the hook there. Trying away that excess. And the reason being is because I like to incorporate a full hen hackle in the head of this fly. See, as I like to do with a lot of my wet flies, I just find that it just adds so much more movement to the fly. Now, what I'm adding here is a golden pheasant crest feather in as the tail, and I like to keep the tail probably longer than most people would. For the reason being is, whenever you tie in the big hackle, you don't want it enveloping the full tail, sorry, so as that the trout can't see it. I'm just going to wind that down the full length of the body, just so as that there's no lumps and bumps in the fly. Try and cut that at a slight wee taper, that avoids the bulk coming towards the end of the fly. And just come back down again in nice even touch and turns. Right, so, and again, as you'll see with a lot of my wet flies, that lovely sweeping arc. Now what I'm going to add to the fly is a copper wire rib, and what this will do is this will just secure the two body hackles. Plus it also adds that extra wee element of colour to the fly as well. Me and the muckers, we've been doing more homework to be honest with you, we've been doing more homework all season, in the hull locks. We really have. I've put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, studying roots, studying fly life, etc. But on Saturday we are tackling probably the best out of the lot of Loch Nick, and I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I really am. I cannot wait. This loch has been on my hit list all season, but it's way off the beaten track. There's a couple of different routes that you can take to get to Loch Nick. None of them's easy, but at last we've managed to get a a couple of heads together who are willing to do it. So on Saturday, guys, we're going for it, and I can't wait. Keep your eyes out on the channel. It will make for a cracking video. You'll see the place that we're going, the places that we're going to pass, the route that we're going to take. Honestly, it'll make for a great video. So sorry, talking nonsense there about the weekend. What I've done there, guys, I applied some beeswax to my tying thread. That is fiery brown seals fur that I've dubbed on and wound down in nice touch and turns. What I'm going to do now, folks, is I'm going to apply the 2 body hackles. The original Loch Ordie would be a brown hen hackle on the body. The closest I have to brown is this. It is red game hen. It'll do the same job. So it will. It's 2. It's a double hackle. So it is. It's 2 feathers. I like to put 2 feathers in the body. So I'm going to lock these in. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, right. And now, because what I would normally do, I normally wind my hackles on my finger. Very, very rarely you'll see me using hackle pliers, but because the hen hackle feathers are short, I'm going to use the hackle pliers for a change. So that's one turn. A wee handy trick: keep your dubbing needle beside you, because these fibres are so soft. Whenever you're winding them, they can overlap and just tangle each other. And what I like to do with every turn is just go through it with your dubbing needle and just tease them all out. Stops any of the hen fibres from getting trapped. So that's 1 turn, 2 turns. This is me coming on my 3rd turn. And as you can see what I'm talking about there. You see the fibres of the hen hackle are wanting to trap each other. So it's always good just to keep your dubbing needle handy, and you can just tease them out. Now, coming to my last turn, just before I do it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copper wire rib around, get that ready for locking these 2 body hackles in. There we go. That's the last turn, and that looks lovely. With a traditional wet fly, you'll always find 90% of the time you will find that behind a hen hackle on the head of a fly, you'll usually have a cock hackle, and the reason being is so is that the hen hackle springs back off the stiffness of the cock hackle fibres. Well, this fly, it's not the case. Another fly that you'll be familiar with that it's not the case is the Zulu. The Zulu is the same. Hen hackles in both the body and the head. Now, a lot of people think that it's stupid and this, that, whatever, that the flies, whenever you're stripping the fly through the water, the hackle fibres are just going to fold. But believe you me, it's not the case. It just creates so much more movement. Sorry again, guys, I'm getting ahead of myself there. What I did was I locked those hen hackle fibres in with a copper wire rib, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim away. Usually what I would do is just pull them tight until they nip, but with hen hackles sometimes it can go wrong, so I'm just going to use my scissors, get right in, trim that. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. That worked a treat. So there we are. So you can imagine the movement that them two hen hackles together and the body's going to create. And that's before we've even added the main element of fly. And this is a white hen hackle, a large feather from towards the back of the cape. Now I'm just going to lock this in. And once you lock it in, wind straight down towards the eye. What that'll do is that'll keep your head nice and even. Trim away the excess of that stock. Right, and as I say, I like to use as close to the full feather as I possibly can. So I do. Really, the white in the head of this fly is it's one of the key parts of the fly. It's why it works so well. So you want as much white in the head of this, much of the white feather in the head of the fly as possible. That's listen, other people might have a different way of tying it, but I think most people out there would agree that's the best way to tie it. So it is. And that's 3 hen hackles on that fly, so you can just imagine the kind of movement that's going to come off this fly under the water. And that's the main reason why it just drives the trout absolutely ballistic. Nearly made a noise of that there. Oh, there we go. So yeah, and as you can see, that's all that's left of the full feather. So I like to use as much of it as possible. Now, just going to lock all that in and wind back. Now, don't worry about this at the front too much, because I still have one more element to add to the fly, and this just gives it that extra bit of colour, that extra bit of vibrance under the water. Makes it stick out like a sore thumb. It really does. And I incorporate these cheeks into a lot of my wet flies. Sorry, before I do that, what is it? It's blue jay, and honestly, it shines like a wee light bulb under the water. It's just brilliant. Personally, I think it's great for catching the trout's eye. It really is. I think it's phenomenal for it. It seems to work a treat. Every fly that I've added it just seems to catch a lot of fish. I don't know how else to explain it. It just works. So you just take a wee pinch and add it in. So that's that. Add it on one side. Don't be afraid to add a generous pinch. Don't go too mad, because what you don't want to cancel out the white and the hen hackle. You know, you don't want to be taking up a full side, but maybe 6 or 7 fibres, a nice wee generous punch, shows that it's going to catch the trout's attention. So I've added that on my side. Now what I'm going to do is add it on your side, and once I do this, you'll see what I'm talking about. So again, just a nice wee generous pinch, hold it in place, and just 1, 2, 3, that locks that in. There we go, look at that, just that wee subtle flash of blue, and believe you me, it works brilliant. It really does, works great. Trim that off. Right. Pull your excess bits back, tidy up the head, and now it's just a work finish, and that's the fly done. And as I say, this is my way of doing the Loch Ordie, that unorthodox big ripple style. If I was fishing it, I would have that in the top dropper in my cast, so I would in a big ripple. Because of that bright white hen hackle in the head and the blue jay, it just catches a lot of fish, and it will work excellent as an attractor, bringing fish into your cast. So it will. Believe you me, you're stripping that through the water, there's no way in this world that any trout nearby aren't going to see it. But there we are, that's the fly finished, guys, and that's the Leggy Loch Ordie. So it is. Look at that. Look at how soft and that the feathers are. So you can imagine just how that's going to move in the water. especially with the blue jay and that. Just, I love it. I think it's a beautiful fly and it works great. That's just the way it is. If you're watching the video, folks, remember, hit the subscribe button for me. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. As I say, I've got a hell of a lot more patterns to come, guys. We're tackling Loch Ordie on Saturday, and it's just me and the pals. We've got a lot more to come. I can promise you that. So if you can, as I say, hit subscribe. Thanks very much for watching the video, guys. And next time you'll see me, hopefully it'll be a video of Loch Ordie on Saturday. Here's hoping, fingers crossed. But till next time, folks, tight lines.